The Archon Ending Cutscene and conclusion to Vanguard Zombies as a whole that we never received. One of the biggest critiques of the Archon, aside from the fact that it's not a totally original zombies map and is a reworking of a zombies map we had previously had in the same game, Terra Maledicta, is the fact that the ending has been regarded by many in the community as unsatisfactory, as it leaves many questions. Because of the fact that after we defeat Cortifex, there is nothing that happens after. There's no real conclusion to the storyline. All we see is that Cortifex falls to the bottomless depths of the Dark Aether. This game is a prequel to Black Ops Cold War Zombies, and despite this, it doesn't really provide a direct connection to Black Ops Cold War Zombies like many of us were expecting. It is clear that Treyarch had much different plans for Vanguard Zombies than ended up being played out. Of course, we were originally supposed to get two other objective-styled maps, but Treyarch diverted their focus back to round-based, and then we received Shi No Numa Reborn and the Archon. And they probably had an exact conclusion in mind for Vanguard Zombies to tie directly into Black Ops Cold War Zombies. But it seems like Vanguard Zombies is being created by a very small skeleton crew of probably just a small handful of developers that didn't even work on Black Ops Cold War Zombies. And that is exactly why the Archon has ended up being such a basic map. I don't think it's a particularly bad map by any means, it just doesn't do anything satisfactory since it is a remake of a game that we've already had in the same game, and Treyarch put all of their focus into the Cortifex ending boss fight. It is really strange as to how we didn't get any conclusion at all to the Easter egg. At least with Shi No Numa Reborn, we didn't get a proper ending cutscene, but we just got these images or slideshows, and to me that works perfectly and it still conveyed the storyline to us, and I was expecting the conclusion of Vanguard Zombies to end in the same way, where we might have gotten some images similar to the Shi No Numa Easter egg that showed Cortifex dying at the bottomless depths of the Dark Aether, and then maybe showed Zykov stumbling along the body, or maybe we could have gotten some images showing Zykov stumbling along the construct. And I really don't know why we never received any of this, even with there just being a small skeleton crew working on Vanguard Zombies. It really doesn't make sense as to why we didn't get any proper conclusion. Even with not many people working on it, surely they could have just outsourced the work to some other company. They didn't have to do anything crazy like they did with Shi No Numa. We only got images, and they could have done the same for this map, you would have thought so. And the conclusion to the Archon just leaves more questions than answers, and they couldn't even give us a shred of dialogue after completing the Easter egg. Even if they didn't want to give us a cutscene or even images, surely they could have had a few quotes giving us some kind of teaser for Treyarch's next Zombies game, or some kind of connection to Cold War Zombies, but for some weird reason we didn't. Anyways, I'm now going to play for you an awesome message that you should be aware of. This video has been kindly sponsored by Yahaha Studio, which is a brand new user-generated content creation platform for 3D multiplayer interactive experiences and games. With Yahaha, anyone can create and publish their virtual experiences with no coding creating experience needed, or any server knowledge. Simply use the components and smart assets in the Yahaha Studio to make your dream games. There's a built-in asset library with millions of ready-to-use 3D assets, of which are stored in the cloud drive so they can be real-time streamed to the local client when you need to use them. When your work is done, all it takes is one click to publish to their cross-platform player app on mobile and PC, where other players can discover your work and join to play. If this sounds exciting to you and you want to put your creativity in action, click the link below and join Yahaha's early access now. Feel free to share your Yahaha game creations with me in the comments down below. I can't wait to see what you have concocted and check them out. Maybe you could create something based on your favorite Call of Duty maps or modes. Put your creativity in action today. There's various different talented modders within the Call of Duty Zombies community, one of which being TZ Ghost, and he's been creating some amazing cinematics over the years that I have used in my prior Call of Duty Zombies storyline videos that have been very helpful in displaying stuff that hasn't been presented in-game. And because the Archon never got a proper ending cutscene, he decided to render a few little concepts in Unreal Engine 5 to show what an ending could have looked like, and this one is showing Zykov presumably stumbling along along the remains of Cortifex's body. And he also rendered a couple cinematics of Cortifex 2 with the construct behind. And these look absolutely beautiful, and he managed to pull these off in a very short time period, literally just days after the Archon's release. Surely someone within Treyarch, or as he said, maybe they could outsource work, could put together small little cinematics like this for zombies to make the experience feel more cinematic. One thing I wished for throughout Cold War Zombies was us getting some of the intel in a cinematic video format, because the general zombies community seemed quite disinterested in the Cold War Zombies intel, even though a lot of it was very juicy. And I think if a few of them were in a visual cutscene format, a lot of people would have been more interested in those cutscenes, but unfortunately we never ended up receiving them. I do think there is some sort of mismatch of resources happening, because for some weird reason all of the operators in Vanguard have beautifully rendered cutscenes, but no one cares about these cutscenes at all, or even the operators for that matter. How on earth are the operators able to get rendered cutscenes but zombies gets absolutely nothing? It just shows that there seems to be a mismatch of management, but TZ Ghost is very talented, and what he has managed to pull off is absolutely insane. He has done things like this time after time again, and it really is about time that Treyarch hire him or someone like him to just, you know, put these little small snippets together. Even if it's not something we see in game, but maybe just something posted on their social media channels, I think that is what Zombies needs. It needs more cinematic stuff to help people visualize the storyline in their heads. Back in the day we used to get these music cinematics, and they just completely stopped after Black Ops 4, and I think these were very important in helping people engage with the zombies storyline. I think a lot of people struggle with poor attention span and a lack of focus, and this makes it very hard for them to concentrate in listening to hours and hours worth of intel that we had in Cold War Zombies. I think if some of it was in a video format, like I said earlier, people would have been more engaged with it. And the Archon has undoubtedly had the worst conclusion to a zombies game ever. Even if we go back in the day to when zombies first began in World at War, Der Riese, despite it not having a proper Easter egg quest since they weren't introduced until Ascension, despite it not having an ending cutscene, it still was a better conclusion to that game storyline wise, I feel like, and it set up a lot of storyline threads and got people very interested in the storyline. And that was back when the storyline was still being developed and Treyarch had no proper long-term plan for zombies. They were just making it up as they go, leaving little breadcrumbs and mysteries for us to solve and theorize about with conspiracy theories. And Vanguard Zombies is coming off of the back of Black Ops Cold War Zombies, which I personally think has had the best conclusion to a zombies game yet. Regardless of what you think of Black Ops Cold War in terms of its storyline and its gameplay, you have to admit the ending was really solid in revealing Eddie Richtofen as the director of Requiem and setting up a bunch of storyline beats perfect for their next Zombies installment. Forsaken's ending felt like the ending to a season of a TV show, whereas I feel like the prior endings in Zombies were kind of just meant to make us go, what the hell? Just like the Origins ending cutscene or the Revelations ending cutscene, and they didn't feel like proper satisfying conclusions, but Black Ops Cold Wars did, and it made me excited and craving the follow-up to the storyline for the next game. And then we come over to the Archon and it doesn't have any conclusion at all, and we're just puzzled, saying, well, what the hell? Vanguard Zombies' storyline has been very important in world building for the Dark Aether. It's helped our understanding of the Dark Aether a bunch if you've been paying attention to all of the radios throughout the game, and it's also filled in a lot of gaps for even the prior Aether storyline. But in terms of an overarching storyline, it's felt like it could have easily been completely separate to Black Ops Cold War Zombies and not been a prequel in any way, shape or form, because it's so disconnected from that game, and it does feel very weird and very jarring, the fact that there is no direct connection to Cold War Zombies. We could have easily not gotten Vanguard Zombies, and our understanding going into Treyarch's next Zombies game wouldn't have been any less. Like I said, it's greatly made us understand the Dark Aether a lot more, but that could have all been done through intel in Treyarch's next Zombies game if we didn't get Vanguard Zombies, and it's also introduced us to the old ones and the construct, which both I think will be important in Treyarch's next Zombies game. But again, all of this could have just been introduced throughout intel in the next game without us actually getting Vanguard Zombies, and that's because Vanguard Zombies was just a rushed product that was tagged on last second, as Sledgehammer Games clearly didn't have a co-op mode ready for the game, so Activision forced Treyarch to produce zombies for the game in a very short time period so that they could market it as having Treyarch zombies so people would buy the game, since Activision were anticipating very low sales because a lot of people didn't want to see another World War II Call of Duty game, and having the label Treyarch Zombies on it was a way for them to artificially inflate the sales of the game. To conclude this video, whilst the ending of Vanguard Zombies has been unsatisfactory and has left many questions, we are able to interpret various things from what we know from Black Ops Cold War Zombies to make an educated guess of what occurs from here. Firstly, the Dark Aether entities, now back in the Dark Aether, likely leave the Special Forces team and go back to their lives in that realm. Due to the power vacuum left by Cortifex, it's entirely possible that they devolve into fighting amongst themselves, but regardless, they are all consumed by the onset of Zykov. Zykov himself is likely the next Archon following Cortifex, this explaining the looming question in Cold War of just how did Cortifex get so much power so quickly. Zykov even noted of stumbling along a giant deceased Elder God in the Dark Aether that looked as if it had been in battle, that of which could have been the remnants of Cortifex that he went on to consume. He also made note of giant futuristic mechanical-like devices in the Dark Aether, and I wonder if he may have seen the construct, since it does have a futuristic looking aesthetic. After all, it almost lives outside of time. In addition, there's the possibility that the Societe Occult go on to make up the uber-rich elite members financing Project Janus that Eddie Richtofen was putting in motion throughout the events of Cold War Zombies for his own currently unknown agenda. And since Requiem archives seem to have tons of information and artifacts from the Vanguard Zombie story, could Eddie be in possession of the Tome of Rituals? Only time will tell. Another loose end is Mr. Peaks. Given his appearance in Vanguard Zombies, it suggests he may in fact be the child of Cortifex and Syraxis, and the cruelty that Cortifex enacted on the child was actually the act of transforming him into the form of Mr. Peaks. Given Cortifex can morph the physical forms of other entities, such as the Decimator, it is entirely possible here too. And I've already speculated about the significance and possible tie-in to Eddie Richtofen's child in prior videos. It is worth noting that the Zealot Spragmos prophesizes that the Old Ones will return post the ending of Cold War Zombies. With the Forsaken captured in the containment chamber, it seems to have freed the Old Ones he consumed. The construct could also play a major role next game too, with the potential for a new Archon. Maybe that could end up being Samantha Maxis, who is now trapped in the Dark Aether, or even a goal for Eddie Richtofen and his Project Janus. Only time will tell. However, the construct does seem to do more than just electing Archons and determines the fate of the Dark Aether, so it could play a role in the future story in another fashion. Finally, we have Gabriel Kraft, who is still very much alive by the end of Vanguard Zombies. It is unlikely he survives until the 1980s, given the fact that he would likely be the first person Requiem would want to hire, but it's entirely possible that he influences the story we see in Cold War in a more indirect way. As we saw in Cold War, his notes are still present in the Requiem archives, so that relationship is likely something we will learn about in the sequel to Black Ops Cold War. Where Vanguard ends, the latter half of D Machine's intel picks up. It seems that the failure of Die Wahrheit's Operation Revenant and the loss of Normandy contributed to the renewed interest from Hitler himself in Project Endstation and the eventual development of Operation Boulderer. Anyways, that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I will be producing an entire Vanguard Zombie storyline video soon. It is in the works, and I hopefully should have that out before the release of Modern Warfare 2. Anyways, thank you for watching the video, and make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.